Hey everybody, it's Andy. Welcome Thursday. Live office hours a few minutes early. What the hell? Why wait? Let's get rolling. Get in, say hi. I see Sexy Mary's here, and my mother, and Laura Cobb. Great to see you guys, and Dana. Oh, look at those. And Varun, Dutch Courage. We got all. Jeff Comstock, great to see you. Boot campers galore. Daryl Newman. Got the usual suspects. I love it. Okay. Let's get right into it, man. Who's got some questions? Helping you build a career you love. Let's roll. Varun, right out of the chute. Let's get this in here. One of two. Andy, hello. Wondering if I should list on my LinkedIn profile my LinkedIn course. Also, should I add my 2 years BCom in 2 years BCom in university along with my listed degree? It doesn't matter. And then does it matter as a seasoned professional? Okay, let's get this question up here. Varun, great to see you, my Canadian friend. So I don't know what LinkedIn course that you took, and I'm wondering if you mean like a LinkedIn learning program or something like that. I leave that up to you. I don't put a lot of stock in LinkedIn learning programs. I think there's a lot of fluff there. There's not a lot of concrete stuff. There's not a lot you can do in the 2 minutes they give you to shoot a video. So I personally don't put a lot of stock in them, but you can put it on there. I don't see it hurting you. And but that's my 2 cents on that. Now your 2 years at the university, along with your listed degree. If you have a degree, you should put the degree on your resume, on your LinkedIn profile as well. If you have courses, even if you have not fully attained a degree, I think that's okay too. You know, you could put your college, your university, or whatever schooling you have. So I hope that helps, my friend. Great to see you. Great to see you. Dutch Courage, how are you? Jeff, my boot camper. Daryl, hey to you. Are these danger signals indicating company may not be a good fit? Interviewer seems disorganized, not detail-oriented, wrong time, job title on the invitation. Interviewer gave vague responses. Daryl, these are fantastic questions. And one of the things that I do when I go in for an interview. Now, we've got a lot of phone calls these days. We got a lot of video interviews these days, and we are starting to get back to more and more in-person interviews as time goes on. But for any of these, I am not just looking at the organization, what I found on the sites, what I researched, and what the interviewer is telling me about the company. I'm also looking at the interviewers as representatives of the organization. What kind of people do they hire? Are they in order, right? And so why is it that well-run companies always show up on time for an interview? They recognize that interviewing you is a reflection of them. If they want to attain the best and top talent and the best and the brightest people, as well as the nicest workers, shouldn't they be on time, respectful, and showing you the same courtesy? Isn't that a demonstration? So nothing, and I mean nothing, irritates me more than lateness for anything, but especially for somebody I'm meeting for the first time. And a lot of times, right, when you're meeting somebody for the first time, you're not able to communicate with them. In this case, you probably were going through a recruiter or an HR person who hopefully mentioned that they were going to be late. I also look at the circumstances. I also look at how do they make up for the mistake. So if somebody walked in and was late and said, oh my goodness, I am so sorry, I'm late, I ran long, we had a customer issue, and I needed to address it, I'm so sorry, I'll be happy to extend the interview for a few minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is. And if that was their reaction, I'd let it go. And I wouldn't even think about it. And I'd actually give them points for that kind of recovery. So if they don't apologize, if they look disorganized, if stuff isn't in order, if they don't have my stuff in front of them, if they haven't reviewed my resume, or I can at least tell they haven't reviewed it, or it doesn't look like they reviewed it, either which way, it's all bad to me. I put stock in that. Now, you might say, well, Andy, you're an executive recruiter, you've hired a lot of people, why wouldn't you? But I just think that's a respect and a courtesy thing. I would say the same thing about being late for meeting your friends, right? It's a respect issue and making every effort. Now, it's okay if you're late a time and time or two, but it's just the disorganization, the pattern, the not planning properly, the not respecting the other person's time, and those kind of things. Now, any one of these in and of itself is probably not the hugest of deals, but when you start piling them together, and let me end it with this. I mean, to be honest with you, companies should be on their absolute best behavior in the interviewing process, because they should be putting their best face and foot forward. And when they're not, it usually is a sign of what it will be like to work there. Daryl, let me leave you with this. I do have a video out there on the YouTube channel. If you just look for red flags, Stacy can pop it in the chat. It's a great question, and I really would. I really would check that video out. And the other thing is, we've got a video coming up that is addressing. And I think the title of the video coming up that's not out yet is, job seekers should be careful before joining these types of companies. I think that's actually the title of the video, and it'll be coming out within the next couple of weeks. And maybe you're watching this on the recording and it's already out. But anyway, lots of luck there. I hope it goes well. Be ready 223. Had a great third interview a week ago, received a positive feedback from hiring manager and VP, but I haven't heard back from anyone yet. When and how should I follow up? The company HQ is in Houston. So 11:03, only took 3 minutes. Actually, we started a little early, so maybe 5 minutes for somebody to ask me a follow-up question. And Stacy and I were having a good little chuckle about this, about how long was it going to take for somebody to ask us a follow-up question. Be ready 223. You did it fast. Okay, so now let's take multiple scenarios. Houston is got bad weather. It's got snow. It's got cold. It's got stuff it never deals with. It's not ready to deal with it. It's in disarray. Pile that on top of the global crisis, it's more disarray. You got people without power. You got all kinds of stuff. This is not usually the case, right? In this case, if it is actually in Houston and they are located in Houston and they're having issues, the one thing that I would say is, I don't know about you guys, but I got one of these things. It's called a phone. I could do anything I need to from this phone. I really can. So if I actually had to contact somebody, I probably could send them a message of some kind with this phone. So my view on that stuff is there should be a way for them to relay some kind of message. Not everybody in the entire company is without power or not able to find its way down the roads on streets with snow that they don't normally drive on. I mean, that's the way I look at that. Now, if it's only been a week, what I would then say is, the second part of what I would say to you is, did you, when you had the session with them, ask the 3 magical pieces of information you need? What's the next step? Who's going to contact me? And by when will they contact me? If you did not get those 3, for all you know, they could be interviewing other people, and who knows when they're going to get back to you. But without that, you don't know if this is a bad sign. You don't know if they're delayed. You don't know if there's any issues. Right? If I would have said, hey, be ready 223, I've got 6 other people I still need to interview, it's going to take me 2 weeks before I know anything, you'd be midway through that right now. So I would probably contact them. I would just say, hey, I recognize that you're having bad weather, and I don't know, your phones might be broken, but I would like an update. So that's what I would do. I would have liked to have known those 3 pieces of information, so I knew who to contact, when to contact them, or when they blew their deadline and when to contact them. Hope that helps. Charlene Lee, morning to you. Hope all is well. It is. How to choose between two companies. One is a company that is very stable and the other is a startup. I got your $97 package and your book is super helpful. Charlene, well, first off, thank you for getting the book, and the $97 package she's referring to was a special that we have. I think when you grab the interview intervention book, which I don't have with me, but is available, and we ship it anywhere in the world, plus you get the ebook and the audiobook and a bunch of other goodies if you chip in $7. There is an opportunity to get I don't know, like almost $1,000 worth of interviewing stuff for $97. You get the interview intervention course and you get the job interview mastery workshop, which we just did at the beginning of this month. You can get all that for less than $100. Now, going back to your question about, well, how do I choose between two companies? If you want to upgrade to the Job Search Bootcamp, I have an in-depth process, which is in the first module, that walks you through developing your criteria and laying out not only your criteria, but weighing it. So weight the criteria based on what's most important to you, and then evaluating each of those areas based on how the different companies align to what it is that you want. Not all criteria is created equal, and not both of the companies probably won't satiate your criteria the same way. But they both should be measured against a standard benchmark, which is your criteria. Now, that's an option for you. And if you do go into the Job Search Bootcamp, I give you like an 86-row spreadsheet with all the stuff that you can use, and you can align it to you personally, but you can start with the construct and then chisel away at what you don't need. That's really an easier exercise. The other option, for those of you that are not in my Job Search Bootcamp, I do have a video out on YouTube called How to Choose the Right Job. And I walk you through a lighter version of the process I just described, where I show you how to identify your criteria. The most important thing for you all to know about decision making. So number one, Charlene, I can't tell you what to like. But as your coach, I can help you with the process I would go through. What a lot of people do, which is one of the absolute worst ways to decide anything in your life, is to compare one thing to another thing. This relative comparison technique, which a lot of you have probably already done today before you even showed up for the show, where have you ever thought, well, should I choose this or should I choose that? And then you start relaying them against each other. You list out your advantages and your disadvantages, and then your advantages and your disadvantages. And whether you're doing this on the fly, whether you're doing it on the back of a napkin, whether you're doing it in your car while you're driving somewhere, or whatever. A lot of times this is what we do. Advantages, disadvantages, advantages, disadvantages. Which one has a better list? And it's called moral algebra. It's a terrible way to decide things, because I could cook those books any way I want, especially if it's a highly emotional decision, which job changing tends to be. So what you do to neutralize that, to make a good decision, is you have a standard set of criteria, and then there's option 1, option 2, or option however many you have, and you compare all your options against your standard set of criteria, and you look at that and see which one of them scores better. Now, I'm not saying you got to make everything a numerical evaluation, but it is a way to assess more objectively how each of the options aligns to what's important to you. Because a lot of times we get distracted, or we rearrange, or we rationalize when we start to see options in front of us. Before you do anything, before you buy anything, anything you do, you should know what you're looking for. That criteria is what enables you to know what you're looking for. Okay, and you want to measure everything against that same set of criteria. That is a much better way. To put it in terms of, I know we got a lot of project managers, we got a lot of software developers, we got a lot of people out there in the community that evaluate software products. What's the first thing you do when you need to go pick a software product out in the world to satisfy whatever business function you're trying to satisfy? Customer relationship management, Salesforce automation, account, it doesn't make any difference. Okay? you don't go out and call all the software vendors and say, come on down and show us what you got. Because then you start getting distracted by what's pretty, what isn't. What do? You put a requirements matrix together, right? Can I get a nod from all my PMs and software evaluators and folks that have to pick products as a part of their function in their businesses? So what do? You put a requirements matrix together. Then what do? You weight everything 1 to 10, 1 to 5, but some way to separate that this criteria it matters way more. I've used the example about my house, right? I would have loved a fireplace. We actually got one, but it was a 2, right? This office, I needed an office. That was a 10, right? So that mattered more. So when we're looking at houses, we're evaluating, well, does it have an office? My wife needs an office, right? How many bedrooms does it have? Right? We got visitors, like that kind of stuff. So it's the same kind of thing when you're making a choice about where to work or what role to take or what career to go down. There's a lot to this. And then to cap this all off is not only do you have to have your list, but what else do you have to have? The information to evaluate it, right? Just because you have a list doesn't mean you got the information you needed to assess whether there was this, whether their cultural characteristics were this way, what the compensation looked like, how it broke down, who you got to work with, what your boss was like, whether it was a meritocracy, whether they were growing, whether you were working in the most strategic part of the company. All of this stuff, you have to ask the questions to get the information to make an accurate assessment. So what makes a good decision? Knowing what you need to get, knowing what you want, having a good benchmark, and then having all the information so that you're making an educated decision and it's accurate information. Having the wrong information is really bad too. So I hope that helps. I wanted to go into that a little bit because I cannot believe how many people do not put that list together. I cannot believe how many people put the list together and then don't weight it. Then I can't believe how many people don't put the list together, don't weight it, and don't ask the questions to get the information. So make sure you're doing that stuff. And if you don't have my job search bootcamp, check out how to choose the right job. It's out on my YouTube channel. Charlene, lots of luck with that. Doug Milligan has the bootcamp. How are you, buddy? Popping on between interviews. One just wrapped up and the next one is in a couple hours. Since using Andy's advice, I've had multiple interviews, multiple on some days. Can I just say thank you, Doug, and lots of luck to you. I know you've been working it hard. We've been going back and forth in the system. I love the questions. And folks, take it from a boot camper or the people in my job search boot camp. And if you don't know what that is, it's my premium job search program. You can check it out. We ran a special, which is now over, but check out the program if you're interested in it. And lots of luck. And Doug, lots of luck to you. Smita, how are you? A new boot camper from Canada. Doug, good to hear. Darsh, how are you? Laura Cobb, third interview today. Job doesn't meet what I need. Benefits, I'm on state care, so dollars I'd make would pay for benefits, so I'd be broke. What say in the interview to save face and play nice? Laura, well, number one, I'm so sorry for the situation. Number two, I'm not sure what to tell you to say because I don't understand the entire situation. If it's me, my advice to you is if you need the money and you somehow can reconcile a palatable amount that covers you and your expenses and your benefits, then I would do that. If you're saying save face and play nice, if you don't want the job, then I would just say I can't accept the opportunity at this moment. I don't even know if they gave you an offer. It's third interview, so obviously you don't have an offer on the table. But I'm not sure what to say there other than I would bow out gracefully if you don't feel that they can come up with enough money. All right, good luck on that. How valid is SSI for LinkedIn sales? I'm not sure what SSI is. If you clarify that for me, I'll answer it. Vic Lally, thanks, Andy, for all you do. I've had a great rapport with the company so far. Got a pre-offer and have a final interview with the founder today. I don't want to blow it with top leadership when I'm so close. How can I reframe my mindset for this interview to set myself up for success. Let me see if I can, let me see if I could do this. Okay. All right, Vic, there you go. All right, great rapport, but I wanted to put this other one up there because you said I have a final interview with the founder. So if you got a pre-offer, this is strange. I would not have given you anything until you met with the founder. Now, what they're probably saying to you is, oh, okay, well, everybody loves you. You just need to meet with the big boss. Now, I have a video out there, and for the life of me, I can't remember the exact title. I hope Stacy can remember it for you, but it's how to interview with senior executives. It's something, Stacy, it's something about how to interview with senior executives. And the video I'm looking for, Stacy, is the one on going into the final round like this. This is the exact case that Vic is presented here that the video was designed for. And it talks about how to make sure that when you're doing a wrap up like this, where it's like, okay, you know what? You've been through the gridiron, so to speak. Everybody loves you. You got the pre-offer, so you know that this is coming, right? So basically, as long as you don't insult the founder, you're probably going to go through and get the offer. So what I would do in this case is the mindset I would have going in is that obviously it's an interview. Obviously you want to be on your toes. But where I don't want you to blow it is I don't know, and I don't know how long the session is, but what you need, if the session is an hour, for example, or 30 minutes, for example, or whatever it is, you need to be able to carry the entire conversation, meaning you need to be able to drive the conversation with your questions. Because I bet 90% chance on this, the founder's going to say, Vic, great to meet you. Everybody loves you. What questions do you have for me? Okay, what can I tell you about joining this company? What can I share with you that you would like to know? That's what's going to happen. And I hope you show up next week and you tell me for sure if this is actually what transpired. But I'll tell you the greatest way to blow this is to make sure you don't have enough questions. So I would make sure that I could ask one question after another for a full hour and never run out. It's okay. That's my best advice to you right now. Second thing about it, because I know you're going to ask me, well, Andy, I've asked a lot of my questions. I've got the answers. I don't care. Ask them again if you need to, or ask them so you present to the founder that you want his or her perspective. But you got to have the questions. Okay, so that is likely what's going to happen, and I'm virtually certain of it, especially because you said you got a pre-offer. So this is, in their mind, more of a formality, okay? But do not assume you have the job offer yet, even though you have a pre-offer. I would go in there on my toes, but I would not be worried. I would have questions more so than I would be prepping more to have questions than I would the answers I was going to give. So I hope that helps. Lots of luck on that. You're gonna do great. You're gonna do great. Marina, how you doing? Yes, my boot camper. That's an interesting way. Hey, okay, 11:20? Man, it's 11:20 already? So make sure you subscribe to the channel. I hate it when you miss my stuff. Make sure, if you're loving this, click the thumbs up button and share it. And if you have to ditch out on me, the replay stays up. So for the 200 and I don't know how many, 11 of you that are here right now, thanks for coming. I so appreciate it. Actually, I just put a little 2-minute and 30 some odd second video up as a trailer on my YouTube channel. If you, Stacy, it's an unlisted video. Can you do me a favor and actually pop it in the chat? I hope you guys spend just a couple minutes and listen to it. It is about how much I appreciate you. And so I do appreciate you. I appreciate your time and attention, but it goes beyond that because I wanted to give you a different perspective on what all these questions mean to the world. So I know you come here, you ask me your questions about job searching and career development and other stuff, but the questions are important because number one, they're helping you, which makes me feel great. Number two, they're teaching me stuff that I need to know about how to teach you. But the other thing that happens is that we take this information and we try to chop it up so that it goes out onto the internet, whether it's on YouTube or whether it's on Instagram. And we try to make it live forever, and it helps a lot more people, because the questions you have, so too do a lot of others. So don't be bashful about asking your questions, please, and check that video out. It's only a couple of minutes, but I just, it's a huge thank you to you. All right, Carlos, for the ATS, should I submit my resume in PDF or Word? Okay, very quickly, here's how I would do this. Anytime I was submitting my resume into an ATS, unless otherwise specified, meaning if they say attach in PDF format or attach in Word format or whatever, I would put my Word version in the applicant tracking system. If, you didn't ask this, but if you're sending it to someone as an attachment, I would send the PDF version. Okay, so because they're going to feel safer opening a PDF than they will a Word document. That's if you're sending it to a person. And Stacy, we don't need to cut that. We already have that one. All right. Matt Snow, linked inserts can take a spot on your profile, and more important ones can be initially hidden in the list. There's no way to reorder them, unfortunately. Good grief. Mashid, how are you, my Canadian boot camper? Great to see you. Hope you ended up taking that consulting gig, and I hope it's going well. Chris, my boot camper, said hi to Dano the other day, and we exchanged and mentioned our love for you and that you're in the program and all that good stuff. All right, what do you got here, buddy? I was let go in September due to the pandemic. I'm doing consulting and contracting work right now to help pay the bills. Should I list that work on my resume and or LinkedIn profile? I most certainly would. But I want to say a couple things about this. Number one, if this happened and you were let go in September, right? You're now, right? October, November, December, January, February, it's 5 months. It's better if you have consulting work that you're doing and sample projects or things of that nature, and it doesn't have to be continuous. It doesn't have to be like, all of October, all of November, it could be 2 weeks in October, 3 weeks in December. It doesn't make any difference, and you don't need to lay it out that way. You can just group it. But it is better if it's listed there, if it coincides with what you do. If you're an accountant, is it accounting work? If you're a project manager, is it project management work? Is it engineering work? Is it sales work? Is it whatever? It's better if it's in alignment with what you have historically done. When you go into an interview and they say, "Hey, Chris, what is this? Chris Spallino Inc. Blah blah blah." Well, I'm doing some consulting work on a contract basis until I select a full-time employer. And so I'm looking, but I'm doing these consulting projects, and that's perfectly okay. It's when you start doing things that are completely unrelated to what your field is. So if you're a sales executive and you're doing retail at 20 hours a week for the local clothing store, I wouldn't put that up top, kind of thing. Because I know there are people that will do that, right? Some are bartending, some are serving, some are driving limos, some are doing whatever they've got to do. And I think you should do whatever you need to do. But I would just be really careful about that. But for you, if it's in alignment with what you do, then you put it up top and put it in both places. That's a great question. Chicago Louie, how you doing? Shout out to you, buddy. Got an initial interview with the CFO of a med tech company next week. Any additional special prep I should do other than the norm? No. Go get them. Laura Cobb, Andy, I have credentials after my name on Zoom. Tired of changing each time I switch from family versus professionals. Narcissistic to keep certs, credentials, and no matter what, seem lazy. I would not have credentials anywhere on my Zoom. Okay? Not anywhere. not in an interview, not for my family, not for my friends, not when you come to the leadership session that we got tomorrow and the boot camp sessions and all that good stuff. Take them off. Phil Drake. All right, Phil, I don't know what this question is, but I got to tell you something. I responded to you in your email about the lifetime access. And you made me an offer. I made you a counter offer, and I'm going to think more about that. But I want you to think about what I sent to you. And I want you to think any time that you're negotiating your salary, don't ever think in terms of time. Always think in terms of value. You will always lose the argument if you're basing things on time or what you think your time is worth. It's not what your time is worth. It's what the value is that the other person's going to realize as a result of you taking any minutes of your life. And if you need an example of this, for all of you, I want you to think this way. I want you to remember this story. Phil, this one's for you. Okay, so a number of years ago, I was doing a recruitment assignment for a relatively new client. And it was the first time I was recruiting a sales executive. It was the first sales executive they were hiring in Chicago. And the managing director of the practice, they had been looking for months for a salesperson. Finally, they broke down. They said, Andy, okay, we need you to help us with this. You know, you're doing a great job with the consultants and these other people. Can you help me find a sales executive? I said, sure. So what are you looking for? We agreed. We had a conversation on a Monday morning. And he says, how long is it going to take? I don't know. I have no idea how long this is going to take. It takes what it takes. But give me a week and then I'll let you know what's going to happen. And then Monday afternoon, I got 3 job candidates, made 5 phone calls, 3 job candidates, presented them the next day. He ended up hiring one of the people, paid $50,000 for that. And then he said, I can't believe how fast you found those people. I said, well, yeah, you told me what you needed. I made 5 phone calls and you ended up hiring somebody. And he said, you only made 5 phone calls and I had to pay $50,000. That's a lot of money. Said, no, it's not. It's when you think about this, you didn't pay me to make 5 phone calls, okay? You paid me for the 10 years it took me to get to a spot so that when you needed something and you called me, it only took me 5 phone calls to get you what you needed. Okay? It has nothing to do with how long it takes me to do that. Okay? So if you guys are trying to sell yourself based on your time, you're going to lose every time and you're going to be worth less than you actually are. You got to think of the impact that you're having for the people or person or company who need you. Okay? You got to start thinking that way. All right? Now, Phil Drake, okay. Related to Vic's mindset question, do you have a fairly regular morning, nightly routine, or does it change significantly based on the upcoming weeks? Okay, that's a fantastic question. Number 1, the nightly routine never changes. Okay, and by nightly, I mean from the time I wrap up the day. The morning routine will vary because certain days of the week vary based on, like today I have a live show. And the live show, the prep for the live show, the setup for the live show, being live with you, what we do in the wake of the live shows and all that good stuff, whether it's a public show like this or whether it's a private show like tomorrow, like the leadership program. So these kinds of things, they make me change my morning routine. But there are certain things that I do every single morning, no matter what's on the schedule for that day, because a lot of times the live shows are in the middle of the day, which alters basically my day. So in the morning when I get up, I immediately take care of the dogs. I meditate. That's the first thing that I do. I run through everything on social media in a good way, right? I'm not being distracted by my social media. Social media for me is part of my business. I want to see what's happening, who replied to what the issues of the day are, and all those other good things. It in no way changes what I will do that day, nor will any of the emails that I look at for that morning. And then there's a number of other things that I do related to excellence planning, which is a certain set of questions that I ask myself every single day that help me creatively think of the projects and the things that we want to do to the assets we develop and deliver for all of you. They have to do with marketing our company, selling the company, developing the products, servicing the products, infrastructure, and things that I should stop doing. There's time allocated to do that. And then normally what will happen, now my day's already been planned. I will think through the day. Okay, so all of that stuff gets done automatically, like brushing your teeth. And then I think through the day, meaning, okay, literally my day today started I was up at 3:50. I was meditating at 4:30 and I was working at 5:20. Okay, like actually working at 5:20. So at 5:20, I had something that ran all the way till 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, I had something, and so on. Morning generally tends to be creative, more than anything. Afternoon tends to be coaching, so interactions with people. But it varies. But one other thing that I do before I go into the day is I think through the day. I think about all the people I need to interact with, all the deliverables I need to create, all the stuff I need to do, what the schedule looks like, if there's any possible areas that could run long, could run short. And then what I make sure that I do is I think about everything I want to make sure I have done. So I literally think through the day. Then I go through my day. Then each transition, I think through what I just did and what I'm about to do. And then that's locked in on time. And so it's not, oh, I'm going to keep working until I get something done. No, there's a deliverable there that says it needs to be done by 10 o'clock because at 10:05, I'm starting something else kind of thing. And off I go. And as a matter of fact, I'm actually going to be sending an email, I want to say next weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend, on some of this, where you actually will have a record of these things in your inbox, in your email inbox, all of you. So it's pretty cool stuff. But I appreciate you, buddy, and hit me back on the email. Let me know. All right, wait. Speaking of, it's 11:30. If you guys, speaking of leadership stuff, I don't know if you got a message from me yesterday, if you opened it, if you're on my email list, and I was talking about leadership principles and the 5 leadership principles that I think you need to do in order to effectively manage people. I'm actually talking about that tomorrow in detail with my leadership monthly live coaching group. I want to let you guys know 2 things about the program, and I actually want to show you the program, but I'm meeting tomorrow if you're interested, and it's on leading others. But in addition to that, I should say, and in addition to that, starting a week from Monday and running every Monday in March, members of this program, of the leadership program, you can enter it on a monthly basis or an annual basis, but members of the program can come every Monday at 1 o'clock Central, and if you can't make it, if you're in the program, you get the recordings. I'm creating a productivity challenge, and I'm going to be teaching you all the master lists that I develop, how I run the business, how I run my year, my quarters, my month, my weeks, my day, how I plan my weeks, how I run my day. So planning my weeks and day is a second session. How I run my day is a third session. How I run projects, that's the 4th session. And then maintaining personal energy, that's the 5th session. Every single Monday in March, I'm going to be teaching this stuff. The program itself is, I want to be clear because a lot of you know me for job searching. I know so much more about leadership than I do about job searching, but that's probably just because you haven't heard me talk about it as much. But I have this program that covers, it's everything life-oriented and career development-oriented, but everything aimed at you being an influential leader. And if you want to know the kind of stuff that I talk about, there's lifestyle and wellness, there's organization and productivity, there's success and high performance, communication and influence. This is all the leading stuff, building relationships, and I even have given you an opportunity to look inside the program And this is all the stuff. So this is available for you to see in the public what is actually inside the program. And then what you can also do is take note of the different bonuses that anybody in the program gets. So I give you a 5-module career accelerator program, which you can check out. This 5-day productivity course is what I'm creating in March. People who enroll, and I'll talk about the enrollment options on the annual package, also get my goal setting masterclass. And every month, and you can look at a sample here, but if you check out this workbook session and you just want to take a look at what are the library of assets, what does it look like? So every month, what do I give you? This here was from something we did in 2019 on building your personal brand, but you can look at, this is what I actually taught. And so this is what I give the leadership group every month. There's some self-reflection, thought provokers, I call them, to get you to think through the lesson. And then there's usually a challenge that's included that you can use to groove the lesson. And then this is what the schedule looks like in March. So if you want, and even if you can't make it, it's okay because I give you all the recordings. While we normally meet every 4 weeks, in March we're meeting every week, every Monday. It's going to be an absolute smash. There's already about $3,000 worth of stuff inside the program, that page I just showed you. But to give you an idea of what this stuff costs, you can enroll on a monthly basis for $49 a month. Over the year, it's $1.61 a day. You can enroll annually for $297 a year. You would save almost $300 to do it this way. I mean, this is less than $1 a day, people. I mean, like, think about the value that I just showed you in all those video lessons that you'll have access to in the library assets like the workbooks. So if you're somebody that wants to up your game, it's all there for you. We do have a mobile app, and you do get the recordings. So there's a number of people that can make the sessions during the day, but a lot of these people obviously are working. But anyway, check the page out. I think you will really enjoy it. The leadership, the group is fantastic. We do it through Zoom. And unlike this session, we're able to kind of get some people up on the camera. We go back and forth, or the Zoom video. We do some case studies during each month of the session. Tomorrow I'm teaching a lot more insight into those 5 areas I emailed you about yesterday, about really what it takes to be an effective leader of people and of a team especially, but really of anybody. So check that out, and if you got any questions about that, I'm happy to field them. It's a phenomenal program. It really is a great program. Is there an Andy time task goal book? As a matter of fact, Rob, I'm just from a productivity standpoint, I'm literally going to show you every single thing I do. Okay, it literally will be like you're sitting here with me, and I'm going to show you. And I try to templatize everything, the master lists, the weekly plans, how I move through the week, the columns I put in my booklet, how I know where everything is, how I make sure I'm working on the highest priority activities. And one thing I never do is put a daily to-do list together. I think to-do lists, daily to-do lists that is, I call them, they're a graveyard where important but not urgent tasks go to die. Okay, that's what to-do lists are. There's no sense of priority. There's no sense of control. There's no sense of the clock. Time is not managed, it's made. And it's best made in advance of you being in that moment. That's the problem. If there's empty time, or if there's no concept of how long something's going to take or when you're going to do it, you're hosed. Okay? I mean, you might get stuff done. You're just not going to get the most important stuff done the fastest that you can. And I think we all would enjoy that, right? Working on needle-moving stuff that really matters and getting it done faster than we would normally do. I am going to be building a planner. I actually wanted to build the planner in 2020, actually like to manufacture a planner, an Andy planner, like a LaCivita 2020 or something. But the pandemic tabled that. And so now we're, now we're working it. And one other thing, I got another surprise. So everybody who's in the leadership program, that program that I just showed you, you come to the sessions, or you get the course. It's basically a productivity challenge course. Slides, I'll give you everything. Give you everything. Tools I use, all that stuff. That's in yours. Now, you could join for a month and just come and try it, check it out, right? And you get it, and you get access to it. If you're in my job search boot camp, because I love my boot campers, even if you're not in the leadership program, I'm inviting you to the sessions. Okay, so I want all the boot campers, the people in my job search boot camp program, to know you're going to get an invitation with links to the sessions and all that good stuff too. So a lot of our boot campers are leaders in some way, shape, or form. But I wanted to give people who got into my job search boot camp a bonus, and attending this is just I think it's just a great thing. And anybody who's job searching would benefit from these tactics, because it's about running your day. It really is. So I wanted to throw that out there, and I appreciate you indulging me and letting me share that. It's really going to be a smash. These next 7 weeks you're going to see a lot of me in those programs. And Phil Drake, I hope you make it too, and Rob Laporte, I hope you make it too. Paulo, special advice for third round with the C level. That advice I gave to whoever that was, I don't know if that was Be Ready 223 or somebody. Make sure you're loaded with questions. Wayne's email. Andy, your view of companies who insist on salary figure, not even a range, in a phone interview, and yet use some of your tactics, does it indicate something about their... Okay, hold on. Hang on a second. So let's calibrate for everybody. So Wayne is saying, my view of companies who insist on a salary figure in a phone interview, does it indicate something about their culture and management style? So here's the one thing that I absolutely can promise you, and I'm not just, like I like to say, not just pulling this out of my caboose. This is several hundred companies working with them, consulting for them, and recruiting on their behalf, and recognizing when companies have corporate recruiters or hiring officials who demand this information. The one thing I can assure you is they're not very good at recruiting the best talent, because you don't know anything in the first interview. I don't know anything about you, and you might change the way I think about the role, what I'm willing to pay for the role, who I might want to hire for the role, and all of these other things. And why would I insist you give me an uninformed number? You don't even know me. Me as a corporate citizen or my company. And this is one thing that I said literally to 100% of the candidates that we would recruit as part of Mile Walk, my executive search firm. I would say to them, Wayne, you're going to go in and you're going to go meet my client. I want you to know that the more you like them, the less you're willing to take. And the more they like you, the more they're willing to pay. You cannot possibly know that in the first session. Okay, so think about it. Whatever number you tell me, Andy, I have to make $100,000 is bunk. You might be willing to sacrifice 5, 10, 20 grand. You might, even more, depending on these other things, depending on your individual criteria. But as you see and become more informed of what they can offer you and what this will do for you, you will start placing value on certain things. And by the way, I'm not talking about rearranging your criteria. I'm actually talking about you will start substituting, well, if I get this, then it's worth that to me in dollars and cents, or time, or not having to travel, or whatever, right? Oh, you mean you're going to pay $30,000 a year to send me for certification training so that I get all these credentials that I carry with me through the rest of my life? Right, kind of thing. So you just don't know anything. And anybody who's trying to get that number from you right away, closed-minded, trying to fit you in a box. Okay? And then they basically have a number in their mind, and they're thinking that it's a waste of their time to talk to people who they don't think they can convince to take that amount of money. So it does tell me a lot about them. That's what it tells me. I hope that helped. Oh, this is a good question. Rebecca Smith, trying to game the system here, young lady. Okay, so Rebecca was asking, if I sign up for the monthly leadership today, will the month start in March so I can attend every Monday in March? When you enroll in the program, if you sign up today, which I hope you do, it starts right now at this moment, at this time, your local time. And then literally the same date, if you go on the monthly plan, today is February 18th, right? It's 11:45 or so. If I enrolled in my program right now, literally on March 18th at 11:45, it would draft your card again or draft your PayPal again. So you get the date to the date. Some dates are 28 days, some days are 30 days, some days are 31 days or whatever, but it's the month, and you are always paid in advance. So if you join today, you're good through March 18th. Then you would pay again and so on. If you joined on the annual plan, it's the same thing. You would be renewed on February 18th at 11:47 local time on February 18th, 2022. So that's how that works. Now, the one thing you didn't ask me, which I do, which I think is pretty sweet, that a lot of people don't do, is I give you access to everything immediately, everything. You have 30 lessons in there. I just showed you the list of what's in there. So, it's a lot to unpack for you, and you could go into the areas where you needed the most growth. But when you enroll, the clock starts then. So if you don't want to wait, if you don't want to enroll now and you want to enroll March 1st, then enroll March 1st, and you'll have it until March 31st, until April 1st, essentially. But I think when you get in there, you're going to love it. And by the way, the boot campers, I mentioned you guys can come for free. But for anybody who's out there who's in my job search boot camp, the normal monthly rate is $49. Boot campers get it for $39. They have a perpetual rate. And when you enroll, it's GTC. It's good till cancel, meaning once you're in, you're in. If you cancel, then you're susceptible to rate fluctuations. But when you enroll, it's yours forever, meaning that's your rate until you cancel it. So it'll be $39 a month or $49 a month or $297 a year or whatever. I probably will have a lifetime subscription that we're kind of kicking around right now as well. You need to enroll now if you want to attend tomorrow's session. So tomorrow's session is at 11 a.m. Central. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. And this productivity challenge is going to be, I think you're going to like it. I really do. There's a lot in there. This is the stuff that you should have been taught in school but never were. This is the stuff that helps you design the career you want. This is the stuff that makes you get the most enjoyment out of everything that you do. Folks, I'm telling you, and for those of you that have been with me a while, I'm not blowing smoke. I mean, this is really me, okay? So I have big problems. I work really hard. I screw up a lot. I fix the stuff. I do it again and again. Right? I'm not giving you peaches and cream here. I'm going to give you the best stuff that you need. And if you don't believe me, get in there, pay the $50, go look around at whatever tickles your fancy, and you decide for yourself. But I think you're really going to enjoy it. And there's a lot of stuff. And it's not just career stuff. And it's not just leadership stuff. I teach you about, habits, organization, energy. There's everything from that all the way through to designing your career, the stuff you ought to do, to make great long-term decisions, build trust with people. You saw the different topics. It's really a lot of stuff. And I left it available and I didn't pull anything down because I want you to pick and choose and tailor your own curriculum for yourself based on what you want to learn. And then once a month we meet, if you can make it. All right, I hope that helps. That's great. I just love this. I love these two, like the Job Search Bootcamp and the Leadership Program. I mean, we pour our heart and soul into these. We're building a lot of bonuses for both of them. And wait, I know you didn't ask me this, but I think I may have mentioned it, but the Productivity Challenge will be available for $300 if you just want that. Dana G, how are you? Had a great interview with the manager on Tuesday. She really liked me and introduced me to her boss, head of marketing, so that we can set up a meeting for next week. Awesome. My boot camper, Dana G. Aga, thank you for your channel and your advice regarding negotiating salary. I used your tips and all worked out perfectly. I did not discuss salary till I received the job. Awesome. Awesome. Michelle Lynn, how do? Lisa Blizzard, my boot camper. Should I be doing the skills assessment on LinkedIn and Indeed? When you say skills assessments, I wouldn't be doing any skills assessments. If you want to list your skills, like, I'm good at this, I'm good at this, I'm good at this, and pop it on your LinkedIn profile like they do, and then people can endorse you, that's great. I would do that. Deb, look at all those boot campers right in a row. Lisa, Deb, Robert, great to see you guys. Laura, Dre, how you doing? Sherry, Jerry, oh my God, you guys are awesome. Currently in the interview process with 5 companies, thanks to some of the great stuff you've taught us. Awesome, lots of luck. Can we give Jerry a high 10 and some good juju? Dana, how should I ask about workload management without sounding like I'm not willing? Okay, I love this. Dana, first of all right, question. How should I ask about workload management without sounding like I'm not willing to work? The company I interviewed with is in a startup phase, 2 people in marketing, which is where I joined. If I think you're the Dana G in my job search boot camp, if you are the Dana G in my job search boot camp, in the interviewing module, module 4, there is an entire session that does nothing but address how to ask these sticky questions. Work-life balance, right? Trying to get at the cultural characteristics. Are they mean? Are they aggressive? Is it a meritocracy? All the stuff you want to know, but you don't want to make it sound like you don't want to work hard. You just want to be careful. Okay, that's in there, Dana, and I'm assuming that you are my Dana G, so check that out. For those of you that are not in the Job Search Bootcamp, you need to triangulate this. Okay, so I'm going to give you just a little bit of a tip here, one tiny tip on how you can go about doing this. But Dana, I would go watch that in the program. Believe me, I go through everything, and I give you the 3 best techniques to actually go through and ask this stuff. And you can pick and choose the technique that works for you the best, depending on the question it is. But for those of you who are concerned about this, because there's a lot of people that are concerned about, right? I don't want to be overworked. You never ask about workload management. You never use the words, as in never use the words, work-life balance. That is immediately code for you don't want to work hard. How are deadlines set? Right? It is a multi-part process. I like to work hard. I like everybody to be pulling their weight. I'd like to know how deadlines are set, because I want to understand, kind of the team dynamics and achieving the deadlines. How are they set? That's your first question. That's not your ultimate question. Oh, that's great. Do you usually meet the deadlines, or what happens when the deadlines aren't met? Right? Second question. Right. You are taking them through the process that's triangulating this and getting at the information you need to know you got to infer the conclusion. Okay? So when you hear things like, doesn't matter, Dana, Herculean effort, you need to do it, duty calls. How often does that occur? Right? I'm all for Herculean effort. How long does that occur? Right? Kind of thing. And you're going back and forth and you're triangulating. Go check that out in the boot camp. I lay it all down. It's got slides there for you. It's all broken down, and I give you all the techniques. All right. Hope that helps. There's a question about when is the next boot camp sign up? Boot camp's available right now. Sign up right now. You get everything in the boot camp immediately, no waiting. It's self-paced, and the next coaching session for the boot camp, the live boot camp coaching session, is March 19th. So we meet every month at least once. We just did 5 in February. We got 1 in March. But the boot campers are also getting all those 5 Mondays too. And then, so basically 6. So you could join right now and come to all those. And then we'll have a bunch in April and a bunch in May and a bunch in June. So there's more sessions that will come each month. But Karen, the boot camp starts when you get in. And then Medina, excited about the productivity challenge. Will we learn about the planning and journaling too? Can you guys see this? You can see that it's columned, right? These are the intermediary pages that direct everything. I'm going to show you everything and why the columns are, where the columns are, why I use this 3 on this page, what this one is on this page, what the week looks like, how I plan my day. Everything I do, I'm showing you. Okay? You literally, there's not going to be anything you don't know about me at that point. Ay. All right. Dalston, just want to say enjoy your content and it really helped me. Awesome. Dalston, you're welcome. Lots of luck. Lots of luck. Flying Over Tuber, nice to see you. And Spider09. Let me see. Being told I'm too experienced for positions. Oh, let's get this up right away. Being told I'm too experienced for positions, tell them I'm willing to talk about other opportunities. I think they think I'll join and leave. Any advice? Spider, I do have advice. Okay, couple things. I want all of you who tuned out a second because of this question about overqualified to stretch your ears, because I'm going to talk about what you need to do in salary negotiation as well. You have to change the way they think about you and the value you are going to create, okay? Now, to tackle the immediate question that Spider is asking, when you are overqualified. So first of all, there's technically, when you're in an interview, no such thing as overqualified. Because if you were really overqualified, as in, why would this person want this job? They wouldn't even be talking to you if they were that worried. So you got to remember that. All right, that's the first thing to remember. Now you're in the interview. Now you got 10 years, they're looking for 5. You got 25 years, they're looking for 5. Doesn't matter. They're still talking to you, right? That's right. Art of the possible. Okay, now they say, Spidey, why would you want this job? First line of defense. I'm mostly interested in joining a great company because it's my experience that when you join a great company, you don't have the job you joined for very long. And I mean that in a good way, right? Because you're going to be presenting me opportunities once you recognize my abilities. I have faith in my ability to do well, and I have faith in you that you'll appreciate and reward that. And so what's the rush, right? I want to get in and I want to help, and I want to be in a great company because I join a company, I don't join a job. That's the first line of discussion. Well, but you might earn too much. That could be true. The most important thing for me is getting in the right organization and being paid fairly for what I'm contributing and being asked to do. The value I'm contributing and what I'm being asked to do, right? So it would stand to reason if I'm able to do that job, it's probably worth less to you than I'm currently earning. But I understand that. Okay, now you understand that. Okay, so now they know you understand that. Still, I want to reiterate, I'm more interested in joining a job. But let's say, now, mind you could be having this discussion at the beginning, at the middle, at the end of the interviewing process, at the end of the interview. Okay, so it depends where it is. So, okay, Spidey, you know what? I'm still a little concerned that you are overqualified, and we just want to make sure you're not going to come in and leave. I really like you. I want to hire you. Just tell you what, Andy. All right, if you feel that way about it, is there any possibility that you could augment the role and create additional responsibilities on top of that job? Is there any responsibilities that you want to add to my plate where you would feel more comfortable paying me something that's more commensurate with what I earn today, kind of thing, or what the value I can contribute? So I would be open to that if you want to consider that. I'm open to that too. But either way, I want you to know I'm more concerned or I'm more interested in joining this organization than the specific role that I have. Because the company I look at as a home, the role can be temporary based on my performance. Now you're going through different iterations, okay? So I'm pushing that, and I'm not giving up. And if at the end of the day, they don't want to hire you, one of a couple things happened. Number one, they were genuinely concerned that you, maybe it was age discrimination. That could have been, right? Okay, in which case, you don't want to work there. Or they were really concerned that you were going to leave. That is a reflection of them, not you. Okay, folks, you got to recognize this. When I think you're going to leave, that's a reflection of me, not you. Why? Because I won't keep you entertained. I'm worried that you're not going to be happy because I'm worried that I can't create an environment that would make you happy. Okay, that's what they're saying to you. You need to say, if that's what Andy thinks, I'm out of here. Okay, so there's that. And it's one or the other, in which case you don't want to work there anyway. So you went through the protocols, you went through the steps I just gave you, and you tried to convince them. Now, when I was talking about the salary stuff, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter if you're 35 years old and you're like the prime and they're looking for somebody in their mid-30s and that's what they got in their head and they're looking at you and they only want to pay 100 and you're worth 120, right? This is what I'm going to do for you. Value commensurate, I want pay commensurate with the value I'm going to provide. And so you need to change the way they think. Sometimes you can change the way they think because of the stories you tell, and then they were able to make the leap on their own. And sometimes you need to change the way they think about something because you overtly did it, right? So when I say to you, Leadership Monthly, it's $297 a year. That's one way of looking at it. And what's the first thing you do when I say $297? $300. I got to pay $300. That's cost, right? But when I say 81 cents a day, you could buy how many, right? How many times over with your one latte a day that you spend? That's a different way of thinking about it. Or I could show you there's $3,000 worth of assets in there already. So like if I didn't do anything for a year, you'd still have $3,000 worth of stuff. That's another way of reshaping the way you think. Now, some of you might just say, Andy, I don't really care how much value's in there. I got to pay the $297. In which case I would say, you're not a paying student for me. That's okay. Just like you should say to the company, you're not the kind of company I want to join. It's the same thing. That's how you got to think. That's how you got to think. Art of the possible. All right, Spider, go get him. Doug Milligan, my boot camper interviewing for a role I can do. First interviewer hesitant. Their range may not be acceptable for me. JD requirements don't match salary. Agreed to go forward. Waste of time. No. Go. Art of the possible. What's Kara sending me here? David Mulhall, my newer boot camper. Andy's boot camp is great. I have found it to be a wise investment in my future. Jeff Donald, boot camper and leader. Back after a while issues. Good to hear and see Andy again. Okay, great to have you. Rob Laporta, highly recommend boot camp and leadership program, high quality live lessons, recording sessions, and 24-hour resource repository. It's true. It's pretty true. Rob, that's awesome. Thank you. Jeff and Rob and David and Doug and all the others that are giving us shout outs. It does. I do appreciate all of you guys, and I do appreciate you sharing that with the folks who are here because it does help them understand, that people are getting a lot out of it. All right, Bavini, all written assessments, not any other reply that then don't meet essential qualifications, which I clearly meet. What should I think? I don't know because I don't know the exact situation. The one thing I can tell you about this is I would not pay much attention to organizations that behave this way. You will never know somebody until you meet them multiple times. Raphael, hey Andy, I got a screening phone call from a director and I was told I'd get an appointment for a Zoom call. Never did so. I called today and he said he would text me today. Do I just wait? Yes, and I would not at all. You got a screening phone call from a director. You told you'd get an appointment for a Zoom call. I'd wait. I wouldn't keep following up. I really wouldn't. Daisy Guzman, hi. I don't know if that's Lugmug or Iugmug. Email for job app, okay to connect the manager posted on the job description or too pushy, says welcome to call at his number. I would email the manager directly first. And then I'd wait a week and then I would call the phone number. That's what I would do. No, it's not too pushy. I call it boss hunting. You must be new on this channel. Check out my boss hunting techniques for sure. Baz, how you doing, buddy? Be ready 223, you're always welcome. David A, how you doing? Yes, you are new. How to manage other, hang on, let me get this up here because you're a boot camper and we always want to answer the boot camper questions. How to manage other social media outlets. How much can potential employers see and use? Okay, this is my general guidance. Number one, I think about everything that I have at my disposal to use to my advantage. Everything in this world, wait, I'm not being funny here. I want you to repeat after me. Everything in this world is for my good. It is to be used to my benefit. Now, I'm not talking about in a malicious and a manipulative way. I'm talking about, there's Facebook. I personally abhor Facebook, but I'm gonna use it to my advantage. Twitter, not really a fan. Can't really develop a deep relationship. We'll use it to our advantage. Instagram, you should follow me on Instagram, right? You should connect up with me on LinkedIn. I'm gonna use all that to my advantage. You are looking for a job. You get all these platforms to build your personal brand. David, in the leadership program, we have a how to build your personal brand, power your personal story, and all this stuff that you could be using to bolster your social media presence. Now, will every employer look at it? No, but 80% of them will, right? So why not be having conversations on those platforms that show that you're a great guy to be around, you're a great professional, you're not unhinged or anything, and you're positively promoting things, meaning you're having dialogue with people that are in your space, right? Stuff like that. So at a minimum, I would be doing this on LinkedIn. At a minimum. Now, if you don't have Instagram and you don't want to use it, that's fine. I don't think you really need Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, but I do think you need LinkedIn. I really do. So that's the way I think about that stuff. And, when you guys, and I hope that helps. One of the things I try to mention, I don't always mention it. I would love to be connected with you directly on LinkedIn. And the reason I know a lot of you follow me. I would actually like to be connected to you because then I could follow your feed. I could follow what you're saying. I can follow the issues you're having because that's also keeping me informed and in tune with the current issues that you're facing so that I could then come to these shows on Thursdays or build products or other things that you're asking me for and help you. Okay, and on Instagram, it's the same kind of thing. I have found Instagram to be a more positive platform. I have found it to be an easier platform to track. We put 2 videos out a day on Instagram related to your career development and personal development. 2 a day. On YouTube, I put 1 a week out. We have a show once a week, and I put a video once a week. And it just, and I put my motivational stuff out on Instagram, and it's nicely packaged there, and it's a fun platform, and I enjoy it, and I think you can use all these platforms to your benefit, and you can use them to learn. That's what I do. And I use Instagram to communicate with people. I use it to share stuff, but I also use it for my own education. So what are other influencers or coaches or whatever we want to call them, experts in their space? What are they doing? What kind of promotions are they running? What are they offering? How are they offering it? So I look for ideas, but I don't, it's educating me as well. And so it's a two-way street. So it's part of my brand, but it's also part educating me. I would be using social media to follow companies and people that I wanted to get connected with and learn from. So that's how I do it. And I would also take a social media shower. Like if you have other stuff out there that's inappropriate or, doesn't put you at your best. I doubt that that's your issue, buddy, but I know a lot of people can, run into that issue. All right, hope that helped. Cowboy, how and when would you mention a felony conviction if it was not asked on an application? I'm highly surprised that it's not mentioned on the application. And if I had a felony, I would immediately mention it. Like I would mention it in the first interview and say, obviously I'm assuming you've paid your debt. You paid your debt. Everybody gets a second chance in my book, and even a third chance. So I would just say, hey, look, I had this on my record. I wanted to share it. I noticed you didn't ask me on the application, so I wanted to share that. That person who tells me that, your ace is with me. You don't worry about it. I mean, assuming you fit the bill, I won't care. That's me, but I think you're better off because if you don't say anything and you go down to the end, they're gonna run a background check. It's gonna come up. Felonies, misdemeanors, and so on. A lot of times they won't ask about the misdemeanor on the application, but normally they would ask about a felony. I would be straight up. I would. Hope that helps. All right. Stacy, do we have... man. Okay. I want to direct Wayne here to Stacy. Can we pull up the video on the questions to ask yourself before taking any job? I think there's 8 of them that we like to ask. And Wayne, I want to direct you right over to that because that's got what you need. And while I said that it's about you asking them, it's really you need to get the information from them so that you can ask yourself these questions related to this information so that you're satisfied. So try that. Stacy, pop that in the chat. And Helene, how you doing? All right. Had my resume handed off to a VP by a VP colleague of his. Okay, it's been a week and I haven't heard anything. Is it too early to check in with the VP who did the handoff? No, it's not too early. And as a matter of fact, this is what I would have done. And I know you got 200 characters here and you're a beloved boot camper, so you can ask me this if I don't get this all in. But basically, Helene, what I would have done is, this is a friend. Okay, you're gonna go hand it off to that. When you hand it off, can you let me know or give me a call or shoot me a text or whatever? I would immediately, once and when you hand it off, will you make sure you get some kind of feedback from that person as to what they might do next? Meaning, hey, this is my friend Helene. She's really great. Got a lot going on, this and that. I'd love to just be able to get back to her and let her know, will we contact her no matter what? If she wants to follow up with you, how much time should I get? Like, I would have prepped all of that. Because, if it's somebody who knows somebody who's handing it off or emailing it, I would never forward a resume to somebody. I got to make an introduction later today. I will never forward that resume without asking all this stuff. Hey, wanted to send this to you. It's not a, hey, I'll let you take it from here. Because I know you're going to want to know this stuff. So, hey, have a look and, can you let me know immediately what we should do as far as next step? Do you want to talk to her or how long will it be? Or would you like her to follow up? Like I would give them call to actions. Okay. Now, if it's been a week, I don't care. You call them right now, hang up on me, go call them. I would call them so you could talk this through and then say, what was his or her reaction or the VP's reaction, and what do you think I should do? And ask for guidance, because this person, the VP, probably knows the other VP and how receptive that VP would be to getting a phone call or an email from you. At a minimum, I would follow up via email directly to the person that the VP sent the resume to. Just want, I know so-and-so gave you my resume, I attached it here as well, wanted to follow up directly, so on and so forth. For sure, I would go. Okay, Jim R., new boot camper. You've been unemployed for 16 months. where would I suggest you start to get the most out of the program? Actually, in the last session we just did, meaning February 12th, go into your program. First thing I want you to do is I want you to go into the session on February 12th. I want you to watch the first 20 minutes of it, because in the first 20 minutes, I gave you the most updated view of how exactly to go through the program. I realize you've been unemployed for 16 months. Trust me when I tell you, it behooves you to go through the program the way I outlined to go through it on February 12th. There is also a video in the welcome process. That's the second video that shows you, here's exactly how I would go through the program. But I want you to go to the one from February 12th because it's a little newer. But I would look at those and then I would race through it that way. I lay it out exactly how I would do that. Jim, good luck with that, and I think you will really enjoy it. But go to the February 12th. It's in the coaching and Q&A section. At least watch the first 20 minutes where I go through all this. I put the slides there for you. All right. And yes, definitely follow me on Instagram. It is an awesome platform. And I don't have a lot of followers on Instagram, which is okay, so I can see your questions. Baby girl, interview with company, got an email same day, say selected as final candidate, told me to do a test, came from a different email affiliated company, didn't finish test, did 13 to 20 because of time. Will this affect the decision? You probably took some kind of Wonderlic test or some aptitude test or something of that nature. I don't know if it will affect their decision. It's interesting that they gave you the test all the way at the end. I don't know. I wish you a lot of luck. I don't know if it will or will not. Okay, this is an interesting one. Here it says Sam. So I don't know if that's your nickname. I got an answer after the interview. We decided to go ahead with more experienced QA professional as this helps us on the onboarding process. Should I ask them for an unpaid internship? So first thing is, I'm glad that they shared some kind of insight with you as to why you weren't chosen. The second part about should you ask, all those questions, should I take this job? Should I not take this job? Should I choose this one or that one? Should I do something unpaid? That is a personal choice. So if you want to get in with the organization and you can afford to do that, meaning, and when I say afford, I don't mean like just go without pay. I'm talking about every time you say yes to something, you say no to something else. Okay? And when you say no to something else, in this case, it could be job searching time, where you could find something that you might really love. So if you're interested in trying to get more experience and you want to work with them and you are okay spending 10, 20 hours a week or whatever they would want to sign you up for, they may not even want to. But if they did, that's up to you. But I'm not for working for free. Okay? I'm really not. I want you to go after what you want. Don't get me wrong, because I do think volunteering is an excellent way if you are breaking into a new profession. Meaning, I've never QA'd before, and I was interviewing for a QA position, and maybe I got some software design or product development or business analysis or whatever, and I want to break in. If that's the case, and you want to volunteer a bit, I'm a little more in favor of that than I'm a QA professional and I'm going to ask them to take me on with no pay. So I'm not sure what the situation there is, but those are my thoughts on that. All right. Let me see. How we doing? Okay, just real quick. We got another, say, 10 minutes or so. I'm going to answer a bunch more questions. If you want to join me for the leadership session tomorrow, it's at 11 Central Time, or you get the recording. You need to be in the leadership program. You can join if you're a boot camper for $39. You can join if you're not a boot camper for $49 a month, or $297 for the year. $297 for the year is like $24 a month, or $24.75 or something like that if you want to understand the equivalent, or 81 cents a day if you want to try that. You get access to all that stuff I showed you. Go check out the page, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. And then the Job Search Bootcamp is available if you want to get in. It's really an effective program. We're going to be going through some changes here in the next few months with that program. The package as outlined is a pretty good deal right now if you want to check it out. Otherwise, make sure you're following me on LinkedIn. Get connected with me on Instagram too. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Click the thumbs up button if you're enjoying the video. All that good stuff. All right, let's see. What do we got here? All right, 200, are you still with me? God, you guys are awesome. Dankin 7. This is a great question. How do I stay mentally healthy when so many companies are just unprofessional in their recruiting? I keep on sending thoughtful messages, but this is worse than online dating. So, Dankin and everybody, I cannot get over some of the crap I see from organizations. As a recruiter, we don't let them get away with that because we want to make sure that our interactions with you, the job seeker, the candidate, are healthy, and we're doing our job to make sure that that's the case. Organizations who are not communicating, are not being thoughtful, are not getting back to you when they say, are not following through, are not staying true to their word, or even having the courtesy to get in touch with you, send you a message that that's not a place for you. They don't deserve you. I'm telling you, they don't deserve you. And the part about staying mentally healthy is I literally only control what I can control, and I only focus on my process, my outputs. And I will turn you over to a video that I have out there about staying positive in your job search. And it's probably what you need. Believe me, it's what you need. Stacy can drop it in the chat on staying positive in your job search. And there's really 5 metrics that I want you to watch. So I hope that helps, but stay frosty. Okay, Sandra, great question here. How do you apply for a job requiring more experience than you have, even though the job description is something that you can totally ace? Okay, first thing for everybody, Stacy, I think we got it on the gram, is that right? How to know when to apply the job description one. So I have, by the way, the YouTube videos, those tend to be a little longer. The Instagram videos, those tend to be like 1 to 5 minutes. Okay, so the shorter videos, the clips, those go on Instagram. The longer videos, those generally go on YouTube. It's a rule of thumb. But Sandra, we have a video on this exact subject. Stacy, can you tell me what the name of that is? It has to do specifically with the job description. Okay, how to know when to apply when you don't meet all the requirements. So it isn't, I have a video on YouTube about, and Sandra, this is also for you. I have a video on Instagram about how to determine whether you should apply. Then there's a video on YouTube about how to get the job when you're not qualified, okay, that I just put out a couple of weeks ago. That's the stories and the way in which you have to tell them. Okay, so you need both of those, but basically when you see a job description that you know you can ace, you do apply. I would prefer that you go direct, meaning you send your message, an email, a cover letter, and a resume to a boss. If you can triangulate who the boss is. If you can't, I would try to find the HR person and the recruiter, and I would send it to them. And if you absolutely cannot find either of those people, try a team member, like who would be on your team, and get connected with them. Last resort, applicant tracking system, and then submit your resume, cover letter there. But how do you apply? You just do. The question you need to answer, which I've answered for you, is how to look at a job description and know if you should apply. That's the title. You know I try to title these things accurately. And when I say I mean Stacy. So it's called How to Look at a Job Description and Know If You Should Apply. Sandra, that's for you and everybody else. And then so that's how to apply. And then the other thing is, okay, well, now I got the interview. What do I say? even though I don't meet all the job specs. That's the other video about how to get the job. I think that's what it's called, how to get the job when you're not qualified. All right, so check that out. That'll do you a solid there, Sandra. I know that those will help. Let's see, Thomas. I just passed the CV screening for the very senior position and expecting the invitation for the first interview. I'm getting ready based on your videos, but seems need acceleration. Any recommendation? No, I wouldn't. I would follow up with them once. With the thank you. You said you passed the screening, and when you say CV screening, it's a little odd. If it's a senior position and you submitted it through a online or email or applicant tracking system, and they've emailed you and said, hey, we're getting ready to set you up for an interview, then you hang tight and you wait. You can reply back to an automated message that sent that, or a person if it was a live person. If you talk to somebody and they said that, at the end of the dialogue, what's the next step? Are you going to contact me? By when? You need to know that so that you know when to follow up. I go into a lot of this. I think somebody mentioned earlier about the $97 package. I have an entire session in that $97 package on just following up and how to know how to do all this. So anyway, that's what I would do there. Let me see. What is this? Aw, Smita, look at this. It's a boot camper here. Hello, Charlene. This course is worth investing. I was losing faith in getting hired, but the modules walk you through the psychology part so you can make better decisions and feel motivated. I love that, and I love you for saying that. And it's great to have you in the Job Search Bootcamp. Smita is talking about my job searching program, and that does have all the psychology in it as well, because I need you to know why I want you to do things the way I want you to do them, right? It's not... You need to understand so you can make first off, you need the context, and secondly, you need to be able to make adjustments for your own situation. So Smita, I really appreciate you sharing that. And let's see, Twig, I would like to switch careers in my mid-30s and already started industry exams, but employers also want relevant internships. I don't have any due to my full-time job. Do you have any ideas? Well, I know this isn't exactly what you want to hear. In my Job Search Bootcamp that Smita was just talking about, I have an entire career changer module that walks you through how to do all this and how to make sure you're maximizing every effort you're expending and what the 4 stages are and the 12 steps you need to go through. Now, I have a career changer playlist on my YouTube channel that I would suggest walking through as well for you. If I don't think you're in my bootcamp, but here again, I don't know everybody's YouTube handle, but Twig, if I'm in my mid-30s and I started my industry exams, right? So I'm assuming you're doing something to educate yourself on the career you want to go into. I absolutely guarantee that there are organizations that are out there that will hire you. And it took an hour and 29 minutes before I got the card out. Now, if you don't know I know some of you are laughing. I laugh at myself because I never, in a million years when I drew this card, did I know I would basically pull it out every show. But Twig, what I'm saying here is, you're spending too much time in the exchanges if you know that you say, but employers also want relevant internships. They don't. Not all of them. The ones you've contacted do, and you can't say to me every one of them does because you're not spending enough time up here, most people don't, in reaching out to other organizations who don't care if you have an internship because they're going to go, you're 35 years old. I want to take advantage of all this other experience that you have. Now, I don't know exactly what you're doing now and what you're moving toward, but one thing I can guarantee you is there are organizations that are out there. My best advice to you, if I'm taking my industry exams and I'm well on the path, I'm marketing the hell out of myself and I'm reaching in via my network or directly to organizations, and you will find people who will help you and organizations who will embrace you based on the experience that you already have. If you've already got a dozen years of experience working, that counts for something. How you market that is what'll make you effective, and your consistency in reaching out to people. And if you don't know what this funnel is, what I basically say to you is 90% of your time should be spent sending out your messages and your resume and reaching out to people and networking and getting connected. And then a small portion of your time, this 1%, should be going back and forth and spending time in interviews. But what a lot of you do is you get one interview on the line and you hang on for dear life as if it's the only player in town. If somebody's not getting back to you, move on. Don't worry about it. Okay? Keep going. And if you want more information on that, go to my job search challenge video. The 5-session program is no longer available in the public, but I have a video on my job search challenge which will help you with this top part. You need to stay in marketing motion. All right? Don't spend a lot of time down here. But your job search is like a funnel. You should be sending out a lot of inquiries. Speaking of online dating, it's like that, right? You know, it's like speed dating, or at least you sending your resume out to people, and then some of them will get back to you. Don't chase them, answer them back. That's it. When do you want to talk? When do you want to get together? Right? Don't try to spend a lot of time convincing somebody who doesn't want to hire a career changer. If the organization says, I either need you to have an internship or I either need you to have relevant work experience, they're not for you. Move on to another one. Okay? So keep that in mind. I knew I could get this in before the show was over. Okay, folks, all right, listen. 90 minutes. I love spending time with you. I got a whole bunch of stuff to do, not the least bit of which is get ready for my leadership session tomorrow with the folks and my productivity sessions all of March. So check out the leadership program, jump in. If you're a boot camper, you know you get a monthly discount, or you can come to the productivity challenge on a complimentary basis. The recordings, however, are only available to people in the leadership program. So keep that in mind, but it's a lot of fun. And if you're not sure, pay the $50 and get in and check it out for the next 4 weeks. You'll love it. You will. All right, get connected up with me on LinkedIn. Get connected up with me on Instagram. Make sure to click the thumbs up button, share this thing, and I'll see you guys next Thursday. Actually, I'll see you Tuesday in your inbox. All right, see ya.